Hi guys, it's Dylan from Bijou Diamond Jewellery in London with a very special video. Today we're looking at pearls. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because I found that so many people don't really appreciate how rare and special pearls actually are. It is something of a slightly older generation that are interested in pearls and appreciate pearls. But I think it's a shame that nowadays there's not so much attention on pearls. So I'd like to try and bring that back. Pearls are incredibly rare. I think really one of the factors that's made them be viewed as less rare or less special is because so much costume jewellery features imitation pearls, like plastic pearls. And there's also an abundance of lesser quality pearls out there. So people don't really view it as a rare gem. And I really want to show you, especially with these incredibly special pearls that we've got here today, really how beautiful pearls can actually be. And as always with my videos, I want to go back in time, and really not necessarily back in time, but maybe back in time for these pearls and understand how these pearls were formed. So pearls are formed by mollusks, which is like a shell creature, a mussel, an oyster, a clam. They're all mollusks. They all can form pearls. Let's look at really why they form pearls though, because it's quite an interesting process. So we're going to look really at oysters because that's usually where we get our gem quality pearls from, because their size is very big. So a pearl is produced when a parasite enters inside the oyster, specifically touching the mantle of the oyster. So the kind of darker outside edge, the very edge of the flesh on an oyster. When a parasite touches that, the oyster wants to protect itself. Lots of people say, oh, if sand touches it, then it produces a pearl, which is incorrect. It has to be a parasite that it detects as a foreign body, like an actual living foreign body. So to protect itself against this parasite, this living creature, it will actually form a bubble around that parasite to kind of contain it and keep it away from the mollusk's body, so the oyster's body. The actual flesh inside. The way the oyster does that is it secretes nacre. And nacre is basically like a material fluid that the oyster produces, and it's the same material that we see on the inside of the oyster, the pearlescent finish that we see, that incredible finish on the inside of the shell. That's also nacre, or mother of pearl. So you may see some Rolex dials that feature mother of pearl dials. That comes from basically a nacre dial. It's basically a nacre dial. So the oyster secretes nacre to basically contain that parasite, and it forms a ball, basically like a pocket around that parasite, and that contains the parasite and keeps the mollusk safe. So it's a completely natural process. Not all oysters will do it. They only do it if they come in contact with a parasite. And of course, clever old humans have come up with a way to help this process and find the optimum conditions to make sure that oysters are producing pearls, so that we can use them for our jewelry. And this is called cultured pearls. I'd say probably about 95%, maybe even higher, of the industry of pearls are cultured pearls. And really the person that made that acceptable was Mikimoto from Japan. And Mikimoto pearls are kind of like the most iconic pearls in the industry. He set out to find a way for us to be able to basically farm oysters to be able to produce pearls. And he spent a long time making sure that people didn't view pearls as, or cultured pearls as, lesser pearls, fake pearls. They're still genuinely grown in an oyster from a parasite. It's just done on a more bulk level, and also to try and help the oyster on when it produces the pearl. So I'm just going to briefly explain how cultured pearls are made. So it starts with an oyster farm, and they basically breed lots and lots of oysters to create thousands of oysters on that farm, little baby oysters, and they put them in the sea and allow them to grow for around 2 years. And then when they're old enough to be able to start producing pearls, the farmers take them out of the sea and they open them up, wedge them slightly, and not force them open. They actually naturally open when they're in the sunlight out of the water, but they just place a little small wedge in there, and what they'll do is they make a small incision in the gonad region of the oyster inside, and they place inside a small ball. This small ball is polished and it's made from mussel shell. And it depends on the size of the oyster, what size of ball that they'll place in there, but let's say 5 millimeters in diameter, and that's placed inside the gonad region of the oyster. And with that, a small piece of tissue, mantle tissue from a donor oyster, is placed also next to this ball. And the reason why the farmers are doing this is the shell ball produces a really nice base layer for the oyster to produce a pearl around it. By making the central core of the pearl a perfect sphere, it means that the likelihood or the success rate of producing a perfect spherical pearl is much higher. And the reason why they place the donor oyster's mantle tissue on the actual little shell ball is that basically is the parasite. So the oyster will then detect that as the parasite and then start producing nacre to fight that small piece of flesh from the donor oyster. The research to do this and achieve this was done over several years, specifically in Japan and Australia, and that's kind of where this technique came about. So now once the oyster has the shell and the donor tissue inside, the oyster is then closed up and placed back in the sea for around 3 months' time to allow it to recover from this process. And then after about 3 months, the divers will go back, collect the oysters and open them up and just check that basically everything is going as planned. The oyster should be producing nacre by this stage. If they are, then they'll close them back up again and place them back in the sea for another 2 years. Sometimes they don't survive this process, depending on the farm and how good they are at this whole process. The actual technicians, the success rate can be 50% in kind of bad cases and maybe 15% in good cases. Some of them will die and some of them from shock of the process, and some of them will survive. So once the oyster has grown in the sea for another 2 years' time, then the farmers will go back down again, collect those oysters, and they'll open them up and take out the pearl that has been produced by the oyster. And while they're doing that, they place another ball. So let's say from that 5mm core that we placed in, shell core 2 years ago, into that oyster, we may now have a 10mm pearl after 2 years' time. So they'll take out that 10mm pearl and place inside the oyster a 10mm in diameter piece of shell again. So they place another core inside that pearl sac that the oyster has created. That means basically now that the oyster will start producing another pearl around that much larger core, because it now detects that piece of shell as the pearl it was already creating, because it's the same size. It just continues to secrete nacre around that ball. So now that oyster can be used to produce another pearl for another 2 years' time. So it gets placed again, they check it, and then it comes out another 2 years' time, and they take out that ball and place it in a bigger one. And basically an oyster can produce several pearls over its lifetime, several good-sized pearls. So that's the process of cultivating pearls, or cultivated pearls. Like I said, kind of a massive majority of the pearls in the industry are cultivated pearls. Even though cultivated pearls is a set scientific regimented process, the success rate is not always that high. In fact, only about 5% of the pearls produced in cultivated pearls are good enough for jewelry. So it's a tiny percentage. Pearls come in many different shapes and sizes and colors. Depending on the oyster and where it is in the world, you can have much larger pearls in certain regions of the world from much larger native oysters. For example, Australia is home to some really big oysters, and they produce big pearls, of course. Also, the age of the pearl, how long it's been left inside the oyster, will also determine how big it will get. The spherical core inside, if it's a cultured pearl, will determine how large it will be as well. Shape will be determined how the specific oyster reacts with that parasite. It may react with it in a perfect sphere, or may react with it in an oblong shape or a unique shape completely. Really depends on the shape of the parasite as well that you place inside. So yeah, there's many different factors. There's also the color, which I think is a really exciting one, because you can actually predict in a way what color the pearl is going to be by looking at the inner lip of the oyster shell itself. And the reason is because the nacre, or the mother of pearl, that produces the shell is the exact same nacre that produces the pearl. So oysters from all around the world produce different colors, different hues, different intensities, different sizes, different shapes. And that's the beauty of pearls, that it's all natural to that region. For example, Australia has some really big oysters and they produce some really big special pearls. And Tahiti, very iconic Tahitian pearls, are a really incredible dark color, and that's because they have a native Polynesian black-lipped oyster there. So let's look at this necklace now, because these are some incredibly special pearls that we have on this necklace. So now, just to put into perspective how rare this necklace actually is, you'd have to sort through around 10 to 20,000 pearls just to create one necklace, just to find enough matching pearls in size, shape and color and luster and blemish free, just to be able to create one necklace. So that really puts into perspective how rare this necklace is. these golden South Sea pearls, so these are South Sea pearls, but they're also golden color, are even more rare. They're incredibly rare. Less than 5% of pearls are actually gem quality pearls. So the top level of pearls are South Sea pearls, so they're incredibly rare, but then to have golden South Sea pearls, they're extremely rare. So this necklace took a few years to be able to find all the pearls to fit onto this piece. You know, it's a process, and you can't just say, okay, this year we're gonna make, you know, this farm is gonna make 1,000 golden South Sea pearls. They're all gonna be perfect, you know, so long process, and it's always reliant on nature. So this is an incredibly rare piece. Only around 100 to 150 necklaces are made from South Sea pearls per year, let alone golden South Sea pearls, and also let alone AAA, completely blemish-free, perfect pearls like we have here today to show you guys. So these are exceptionally rare pearls. So the reason why South Sea pearls are some of the most rare and some of the most valuable pearls in the world is because the South Sea is so rich in nutrients, which is perfect for creating big oysters so they can grow and be healthy and produce beautiful pearls. The tides are also perfect there, so they get lots of new food as well, and also the way they move and are able to be flipped over as well by the sea, the waves, to make sure that the pearls are formed evenly. Now these beautiful golden South Sea pearls that we have here today are from an Indonesian golden lipped oyster, and they come really specifically from the Lombok region, these actual oysters that produce these pearls. They're incredibly rare, like I said before. Not very many oysters in the world produce these gorgeous tones of golden pearls. And every single pearl in this necklace is a AAA pearl. It's completely blemish-free, has exceptional luster, exceptional color and tone. They are absolutely beautiful, and they are all perfect spheres. So these are the top percentage of pearls in the world. And we've got on this necklace a range of 15 millimeters in diameter, all the way to 11 millimeters. And they're all tapered perfectly, so it's completely seamless. Every single pearl is completely a perfect match to its neighbor. And total number of pearls in this necklace is 38 pearls. Now moving on to our clasp on this. Now we designed the clasp kind of differently to some other jewelers. The reason why we designed the clasp like this is because we wanted the clasp to become a part of the piece, and not be lost and just get in the way and look kind of ugly. In the way that I always talk about onomatopoeia, making the clasp part of the feature of the watch, an interesting feature of the watch. We wanted to do the same here for this piece, or this necklace. So this gorgeous clasp is a ball clasp, a beautifully engineered clasp here made in London, and it's set with 3 carats worth of diamonds, and it's also in 18 karat white gold. The wearer can wear it front ways, like we've got it here on screen now, or like I'm showing you here with the clasp at the front, or you can have it behind. Technically, the correct way to wear this necklace is with the ball clasp behind, so at the back of your neck, as the front of the necklace, so the bottom is where we have the largest of the pearls, which is the 15 millimeter pearls, whereas the back around the clasp are the smaller pearls. But it's up to the wearer how she'd like to wear it. Okay, so now moving on to our earrings. The earrings are just as beautiful as the necklace, and we've thought about all different parts there as well. Starting with the 2 top pearls that we have at the top of the earrings, these are 2 gorgeous peacock Tahitian pearls, and they're both 11 millimeters in diameter. They're also AAA, perfect blemish-free pearls. They're exceptionally rare, and this lighter tone of peacock is very, very, very rare. It comes from the region of French Polynesia, specifically around Tahiti. Tahitian pearls are incredibly famous and very, very rare. They're famous really for their dark color. They're actually known as Tahitian black pearls. But the peacock color we have going on here is that green color with all those amazing other tones and colors within it. And these 2 green pearls come from the French Polynesian black-lipped oyster. Next, moving down from there, we've got a white gold, 18 karat white gold setting with 2 40 pointer, so 0.4 carat Asher cut diamonds. They are both DVVS stones, so they're exceptionally beautiful diamonds. They both have excellent symmetry and excellent polish, so they're beautiful stones. And then just underneath that, we have 2 drop-shaped 20mm golden South Sea pearls to match the same tone and hue and luster that we see from our necklace. Both of those are AAA pearls also, exceptionally rare in this shape, and this is a completely natural shape as well. That kind of drop shape is absolutely beautiful. They're much larger obviously than the ones in the necklace at 20mm in length, and that gorgeous golden tone just looks amazing against the skin and really complements that green as well. That's my favorite combination, the green and the gold together. So that's our beautiful matching suite of pearls. gorgeous, gorgeous pearls. I absolutely love this piece. Pearls are one of my passions. I love learning about pearls and the process of making pearls. I think it's a magical process, as are diamonds as well. And combining pearls and diamond jewellery together is a really special process. Let's talk briefly about pearl care, because pearl care is quite different to looking after watches and diamond jewellery. They require quite a special care program. In some ways they're less maintenance than diamonds, but in some ways they are slightly more. Pearls are incredibly soft and delicate. You really have to be careful with pearls. Diamonds are obviously the hardest material in the world, so you don't have to really worry about scratching your diamond. And metal you can always polish up, whereas these pearls are so much more exposed than a diamond necklace. Because of their size, they are much more of a presence on your neck. It's much easier to scratch them. And nacre itself, the actual material that the pearls are made out of, isn't as hard as diamonds, so you can definitely scratch it. You have to be very careful with that. Just to put into perspective how careful you really have to be with your pearls, something we always tell our clients that buy pearls from us is you should never put perfume over the top of the pearls. You should apply your perfume around 20 minutes to half an hour before you put your pearls on. They should be the last thing you put on before you leave the house to go out or whatever you're doing, and the first thing you take off when you get home. They must be treated with care. They're natural things and they are soft and they can degrade. To clean pearls and polish them, all you need to do is just use a lightly damp cloth and just wipe them all, and then use a nice soft polishing cloth to clean them and dry them. That's all you need to do for pearls in terms of actually cleaning them, and that will keep them looking nice and keep that beautiful luster. Something that people also don't mention with pearls is they should be restrung quite often. In fact, we recommend restringing pearls every 6 months if you wear them quite a lot. If you don't wear them too much, kind of 1 to 2 years is okay, but you really have to be careful. You know, that iconic scene in lots and lots of movies when the pearls fall off, it's not a nice feeling, and especially when they're exceptionally rare pearls like this, you can obviously damage them, and that would be the last thing you want to do when you have an incredibly rare collection of pearls like this. A string of pearls to this level of matching is very, very rare, so you should do everything you can to make sure they're in the best condition possible and they're kept safe around your neck. So that concludes our video on these pearls. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned lots and lots about the pearl industry and how they're formed, and oysters. There's so much more to learn. I'm hoping I can do some more videos on pearls in the future. And as always, if you're interested in the pieces mentioned in this video, so our gorgeous necklace and earrings, then don't hesitate to contact us. We'd be delighted to give you the details on this set, and also looking at making a bespoke necklace for yourself as well. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more jewelry videos.